Welcome, everyone, to the SnapCast podcast, episode 61, with your hosts, Brad O'Brien and Mike Cooley. How are you guys doing today? How is everyone? How are you, Brad?
I'm doing all right. It's it's another week. Yesterday was like 45 degrees here in Maine. I went for a nice walk without a hat, with no hood on, and today it was like 30 degrees with a 10-mile-an-hour wind, and I couldn't stand to be outside.
Yeah, I mean, to put it in perspective, 45 degrees is like wicked warm. Wicked warm. Oh, yes, tag forward with the message right off the bat. I'm here. Start? You can start now. My favorite was when he posted that message at the end of last week's podcast. That was great.
His timing was impeccable last week.
That was amazing. Dude, so we've got a great episode for you guys today. And in case you're just dialing in and you're like, what the hell did I land on here in the far corners of the internet? This is a Magic the Gathering podcast where we talk about magic and magic-related things. We're geared towards the competitive... Let me start over. We're geared towards the casual Magic player with a very competitive interest in MTG finance. So that's what we do. We're going to be talking about a lot of that today. We've got some good stuff. We've got Strixhaven Spoilers. We've got
Spiral Remastered previews.
We've got a whole bunch of stuff. On top of that, there's been some insane Hasbro news that we love to talk about. Hasbro, as you may know, is the parent company to Wizards of the Coast. And we're going to talk about that. And then we've got a nice little special surprise at the end of this cast for the visual viewers out there. And also for the audio. I'm going to do a lot of describing for this. But Brad is going to unbox some secret layers. And this is going to be cool, man.
One of the things that's cool, in most of the Secret Lair products, they have included a free extra card. And you don't know what it is until these things hit people's hands.
Have you looked up what the extra card is yet?
So I don't know if these have them, or if that's just a legacy, pun intended, of prior iterations.
Ooh.
Or what... what cool add-in might they throw into these? And you will see live on this cast tonight if there are extra cards. So we are going to open up a Party Hard Shred Harder later, and we are also going to open up the Artist Series Seb McKinnon Foil Edition.
Oh, we know what's in that beast. I know something that's in that beast. Oh, man. This is going to be good, man. Let's just dive right into some Wizards of the Coast, a.k.a. Hasbro news.
Yeah, man.
So I was actually blown away by this. Brad brought this to my attention when I showed up today, and I was like, wow, I'm a big fan. I shouldn't tell you how I feel at first. Let's share it with you. Let's see how you feel. And then I'll tell you my thoughts on this.
So... I think the first thing we're referring to is WotC. WotC is now like stepped up its game. So Hasbro has made WotC one of 3 new empowered divisions that are working on tabletop and digital versions of Magic, D&D, and a new intellectual property. They also have announced crossover sets that are going to be tied in with Lord of the Rings and Warhammer 40K in the next 2 years.
Can I just say, first things first, the fact that Hasbro has said, okay, Wizards of the Coast, just do your own thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Check out this new Wizards of the Coast logo.
Like if you think about this, right? Like check for the people who are viewing this out. This is the new Wizards of the Coast logo that we're putting up here on stream. But if you think about what Hasbro said to Wizards of the Coast, like, hey, you're kind of your own faction. That's huge. That means, like, to put this in perspective, that means you're so good at your job, right? That'd be like your boss going to you and being like, hey, Brad, do whatever the fuck you want. You're doing great.
Well, yeah, when they're saying, hey, all of our other avenues are declining, but Wizards and Magic are making money hand over fist year over year. $220-something million during the pandemic. They had their most stellar year.
I mean, think of the most micromanaging boss coming to you and saying,
You
do
got
your
this.
own thing. You're doing
You
awesome.
can go your own way.
Dude, that's what they did for Wizards of the Coast. Like, Hasbro was like, all right, we're going to let you dictate this because
Right,
you're doing
so-
a great job.
I guess, and this is sort of nitpicking, but language matters so much. I talk about this a lot actually in my day job, but Wizards of the Coast, a subsidiary of Hasbro is now a division of Hasbro.
It's crazy.
Which is like saying, okay, you've joined the big leagues, boys.
Right. Just insane, man. So they, within this announcement, within this sort of, it was basically like a press release update for stockholders, which is insane because, Hasbro stock is up quite a bit, even in days where the stock market in and of itself now is down. Hasbro, if you would have invested this in a couple months ago, you know what I mean? Been like, I like Magic the Gathering, I'm going to invest in Hasbro. Good investment. If you want some stock, if you want some Magic card investment advice, go buy Hasbro stock. These guys,
it might be.
Yeah, it's like an ETF leveraged fund for all of the Magic cards printed. It's been doing great, but this was sort of like a update to all their shareholders and such.
Hello.
And,
Hello,
we got
kitty.
a little kitty joining us here for the cast.
Well, one of the things that's interesting is when you pair this with the other announcement that they are doing crossovers with IPs like Lord of the Rings and Warhammer 40K. This is the chance for MTG to be a household name. Like, okay, we talked about the Walking Dead crossover product and how that might bring attention to the game of Magic from people that don't care about the card game whatsoever, but love The Walking Dead. If you take that and then multiply that by the Lord of the Rings.
Well, yeah, that's insane. There's so much bigger of a fan base for Lord of the Rings than Walking Dead could ever dream for, right?
Well, I mean, it's been around for decades versus 10 years.
Right. I mean, the books, the movies, everything. But also, this was the one thing that I appreciated about this, right? Like, this is think of long-term Magic the Gathering, right? And this is going to be nuts. This was a life-changing view that I sort of developed from this release here of Magic the Gathering. And it's, oh, by the way, we're getting a message about audio being out of sync. Do we want to, I think we ought to speed up or slow down the audio, I think, actually, based on what was getting spit back here from the video. But either way, what I'll say about the long term of Magic the Gathering, right? They are basically looking at Magic the Gathering like it's a household name, like it's a generic game. And that word sounds really bad, but trust me, it's not. Like, think about when people buy Monopoly these days, right? Like, when you buy the board game Monopoly, you're probably buying that game because of some sort of new thing they've done with it. Oh, I'm buying Monopoly because of the Walking Dead edition that they've put out there. Or I'm buying this new Monopoly, game because of the Lord of the Rings edition that they've put out. And I love Lord of the Rings. They are moving in a direction that is treating Magic like a generic game that everybody knows and loves. And when you think about the longevity of a company and a game in general, I think that's a good direction.
Yeah.
I mean, your Magic for so long was this complicated game that only youngsters played, you know what I mean? But now it is single-handedly the top most heavily surviving TCG game, trading card game in history. Top selling.
And when you can, like, years ago when somebody is like, how do I get into Magic? And you're like, well, I have this huge collection of cards and this is how all of these cards work. That was complicated. And then you could have said, here's Magic Online digital objects. Here's this antiquated gaming software that lets you sort of fix playing Magic Online.
Right.
Now you hand them Arena, and Arena has Wispy, the little glowing orb that's going to teach you how to tap mana and cast your spells, and it doesn't cost anything. And for some people now and going forward, you can just download it on your phone and start playing. It walks you right through. So it's accessible to anybody at this point.
Yeah.
Better, but not quite there yet. Excellent. I will make further adjustments.
Yeah, we appreciate that feedback, Brad, man. Thank you so much. We forgot to do a little audio test to see if we were synced up before broadcasting today. Usually, it's like hit or miss. Sometimes the audio and visual lag behind, so we appreciate that feedback, man. Thank you. But yeah, I really like the direction that's headed in. I mean, you could literally do anything. If any popular thing comes out, or if Wizards of the Coast gets the heads up that, hey, there's a resurgence in this sort of niche market among the nerds of the world like us, they can easily do a crossover and just grab some of that market share. If I'm looking at this as like an investor standpoint, right? Like if I'm looking at this from, wow, I want to invest in Hasbro or I don't. This is a big thing. Like, this is genius. This is genius. Whether or not you're a purist and you want Magic the Gathering lore and all of their stories to follow a very strict and untainted sort of storyline, it's only up to the company to make as much money as they can. And this is one of the ways to do it. And we should be thankful as players, I think, because this is going to draw a lot of attention to the game. If Magic the Gathering becomes a household name like Monopoly, and everybody just knows how to play Magic the Gathering, and they're just pumped up about these crazy sets that are coming out, how insane is that? That is a win for Magic the Gathering, dude. That'll make your reserve list cards and your Snap This Ups go up pretty quick.
So one of the things that Dalton commented here is that he likes the crossover ideas. They can do crossovers with whatever properties they want. But I hope these are not mechanically unique. And so there's two ways that they can go about this. They can go about it the Godzilla way, which is these are cards we were going to print anyway. We're also going to offer a version that says Gandalf instead of white-haired wizard. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or they can go
about it the Rick Grimes way. And they can print totally new names.
I wish it didn't have to be like this. So I'm on the Hipsters of the Coast website, which is sort of one of the only, if not the only, specifically MTG news sites. And in the announcement about these crossovers with Lord of the Rings and Warhammer 40K, I'm going to scroll down because there is a statement down here where Chris Cox, the CEO of WotC, says, universes beyond cards will not be standard legal. That makes me think, sorry, Dalton, they are going to be mechanically unique. They didn't say that they were going to be silver bordered. They didn't say they were going to be gold bordered. They just said not standard legal.
Well, I don't know, though. It makes me think, like,
This
how
is
many
like
sets did they put out?
This is like a Commander set, and they said that there would be Commander's products that go with these.
Yeah, I mean, they could go. It's difficult to tell from that because they could go either way. They could take like the unglued, unhinged approach where they bring in these ridiculous new abilities, you know what I mean, that are specific to that set, which will affect those eternal formats such as Legacy, Vintage, you know. Mm-hmm. Or they might just stay away from that in general and just use the abilities that we all know and love, which I hope they do.
Okay, so I'm gonna take a turn, an aside here to show our listeners and Mike something that we hadn't discussed previously, which is Star Wars: The Gathering.
Oh my God! If they ever do a crossover with Star Wars, sign me up.
So there is a website called Star Wars: The Gathering that has decks built that you can download and print that are all unique cards.
What?
Yeah. So I have a friend that printed this, the whole Sith Empire deck out.
You could reach out to one of these Chinese card manufacturers over on Alibaba and be like, hey, can you print this whole deck for me?
And they would. So Cantina Band, 1 white, 1 tap, target non-artifact creature.
This is insane.
Gifted Initiate. When it enters the battlefield, you may tap target creature and Gifted Initiate. It's just totally a fictitious product that uses the concept of 5 colors of mana and pairs it with some Star Wars lore. So here's the reason why I bring this up. These are proxies. You can print these out. I know somebody that has printed out 2 of these decks entirely and sleeved them up and has played Commander games with them. They're not overpowered, even though there are some weird mechanically unique effects. But these are not Magic cards.
Oh, actually, well, Arrest is, right? So they actually have this card. That's a legit card. Arrest.
Yeah.
Gosh, so they mix in like some Magic cards legit with some made up mechanics and stuff. This tells me there's an interest in doing this, in these crossovers. There's a whole sub-market over here of people that have created equipments or artifact creatures like X-Wings or whatnot. There's an interest in this crossover.
Yeah. And in crossover products like this, load 270 more images.
Wow, that's so nuts, man.
It's very cool and very fun. There were a couple of people at that Commander table that were like, those aren't real Magic cards. You're not just proxying a card. You're proxying your whole deck now.
Fuck them, dude. Fuck what they think. Just run it. I mean, it's seriously, especially in Commander, it's all about having fun and it's all about playing games with your friends. And if they're going to print sets like this that aren't overpowered, there's fun to play. Right. That's exactly what it's all about. And that is what Hasbro is doing right now. They're saying we recognize that there's a big interest in crossovers. And a lot of the people, it's very meta of them to say, hey, we know that our nerds are also nerds of other things. And we're happy to do some crossovers with that. I mean, they got me hard when they did the crossover with Walking Dead. I was like, sign me up. I absolutely love this. I was like, now all my friends, you got a Christmas gift idea for me? I absolutely loved it. I think it was great. And especially if they're making it not standard legal, like they don't print them in standard. They're not saying, hey, you have to play this. This is just a way to bring new Magic players in, which if you are a Magic investor, you absolutely cannot hate that.
Right. More faces into the game, more people interested in the product, more things that just bring more eyes to it. Like I said, this is going a long way to making this paired with Arena as an onboarding tool is a way to bring in massive numbers of players. And I think Hasbro sees that potential, hence the upgrade from a subdivision to a division of Hasbro.
Dalton says, I bet these guys did a better job of balancing their sets than Wizards of the Coast. Uro and Oko. Yeah, I mean, it's very true. Like, you have a big fan base, but, the bigger point here is there's a big interest in this. And I gotta say, as a Magic investor, if you are snapping up the picks that we're talking about each week, right? Like, if you're following along with this stuff, one of the biggest things in the stock market, for example, is volume, right? Volume is a concept that refers to how many people are trading this stock, right? How many people are actually buying it?
Yep.
As more people come into the game, and as you get this bigger crossover, the volume of trades in Magic goes up. So as an investor, as someone who says, I like this card, I'm going to buy it and hold on to it, or I like this reserved list card, I'm going to buy it and never let go of it. You got to appreciate that because it just means that there's more demand. You're increasing the demand for all Magic cards, not just the crossover Magic cards. Because who is going to buy this set? Think about the first time you played Magic and the first set you got. Did you stop there?
Unfortunately, no.
No, you didn't. I remember the first booster of Magic the Gathering that I got. It was a Portal 1 booster that they sent out to me for free in the mail because I was a subscriber to Nintendo Power magazine. That was why they sent it out to me. And here we are today.
Still talking about these
chilling with Brad doing a Magic the Gathering podcast.
Overpriced cardboard potato chips.
Game is addictive, man. Like, they are bringing more eyes to this, more people to this, and as an investor, I think you really have to appreciate that. No matter how you feel about whatever crossover sets they do, more people are coming to this game and probably coming to stay.
Okay. I have a transition here.
Perfect.
So, on the one hand, you can say that WotC is preparing to sort of pander to new and diverse audiences that do not already play and love this game. At the same time, we are just seeing previews for Time Spiral Remastered.
Ooh.
And if you guys have not seen any of these, look at SRAM Senior Edificer in the classic square-bordered frame. Okay, now they just implemented the new legendary filigree top, and then 2 sets later, we have SRAM Legendary Creature Dwarf Advisor looking like a Time Spiral card.
I love the fact, I'm not sure how I feel about the fact that the set symbol for Time Spiral Remastered is literally the set symbol for Time Spiral tilted
purple.
Sideways.
Yeah.
Like, it's... If you can picture that for the audio listeners. You remember the hourglass that you had for the Time Spiral set? Tilt that 45 degrees.
And change the color a little bit.
I don't know. I don't even know if they're changing the color a bit. It's like purple, which was the color of Time Spiral Mythics back in the day. Or, you know what I mean?
It?
Yeah, like, this is odd. But I mean, I don't really care about the set symbol, to be completely honest. The cool thing that they're doing with this is they're keeping the original border, original art. I think that's really cool.
An old school Lingering Souls.
Oof. Yeah, look at that. That is OG.
There's such nostalgia for that frame. And to see new cards, again, like from Senior Edificer in that frame. Look at this.
Containment Priest in the old frame. Oh my God, that's dope. This reminds me of those foils that they did. You remember Sword of... It was either Feast and Famine or Fire and Ice, that they did a foil premium version of it in the old artifact frame. And that version is worth so much money right now,
dude,
because there's so much of a demand for that frame.
Thraben Inspector and Resto Angel in that frame.
Ooh, man, those look beautiful.
That just it looks, for a card that I've played a million times, to see it look like a vintage Magic card, and I will say vintage at this point. Like,
yeah, that's beautiful.
And what are these going to look like in foil? Now, I don't want to keep going here, which is interesting. There are, let's see, Time Spiral Remastered, because there are also.
Yeah, that border alone, Dalton, really nails it. Like that. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of the old borders that they're doing. This is so good. Are they doing this in the old school border?
Oh, yeah. Well, and with new art. So let's see. Card image gallery. So there's a Path to Exile. Check out this Relentless Rats.
Oh, my God. That is the OG original art right there.
Yeah.
Or original border. Oh, my God. Chalice of the Void.
In the brown border.
Oh, my God. That is beautiful. That is the most beautiful Magic card I've ever seen. This is, so for the audio listeners, we're looking at a Chalice of the Void, right? This was printed in Mirrodin for the first time, which is around the time that they switched the border.
Yeah.
To this new, like, you know, the artifacts are really gray, you know, the gray border. Think of the old school style Karn Silver Golem border and apply that to Chalice of the Void. This thing looks amazing.
The Lotus Bloom that's on the screen right now with the Christopher Rush illustration.
Oh my God.
Is the Buy a Box promo.
How did they get a Christopher Rush illustration of this?
They must have just had it on file.
Oh my God.
I don't know if this art's been used for something else.
This is insane. These cards are once in a lifetime printings.
And this is why I'm pretty horny for this set. Just
cranial plating with the old border too. Jesus.
just beautiful, beautiful cards. And so one of the things that I will, for better or worse, give WotC a lot of props for is at the same time that they are reaching out to new markets with crossover products that are questionable to some people, they are also reaching backwards and saying, hey, we hear you guys really like the old border frames. We hear you guys like the classic look of cards.
Yes.
Here is a once-in-a-lifetime set.
They're never doing this again. You can mark my words. Like, if you're an investor, if you're looking to pick cards up, they're never doing this old border art on these cards ever again. Like, you know, even if the price drops on these because the gamers want additional options and they get a reprint, this is insane, man. This is once in a lifetime. This is, for some of these, this is the first ever old border art that they have ever seen for a printing. Chalice of the Void being one of them. Cranial Plating being another. In the old school border art. God, that's so beautiful, man. That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that. I really like that. And I think if you're looking at this as a Magic investor, they're really going out of their way, Wizards of the Coast, to make these sets unique, even on reprints.
So here's a question, and I would like to hear Dalton's opinion on this. When WotC does something new and different, they occasionally will break it, and they occasionally will under-prepare.
What do you mean?
So, Spiral Remastered is not a standard set. How much of this are they going to print? Are they going to print as much of this as they are of Strixhaven? Probably not.
That's a good point.
Are they going to print as much of this as they did Double Masters? Or Commander Legends?
God, that's a good point, man. How much of this is even going to get printed?
And do we get burned because they can, maybe they can print as much as they want, and they say, I don't know if this is a print to demand set. So they might print out the first wave and put out as much as they did of, say, Commander Legends, and then it takes a couple 6 weeks, 8 weeks to go off shelves, and they say, we'll let it trickle off.
Right.
Or they set all the distributors sell out in the first 3 weeks, and WotC's like, okay, let's just run a whole nother
right.
batch.
Right. That's the thing. It's hard to tell. I mean, in this print to demand sort of world that we're in, it really depends. But at the same time, I look at it like this. Think of Conspiracy, another print to demand set, right?
Well, was Conspiracy print to demand, or was it a one shot? And
those were $3 boosters 2 years after they were printed because people were still buying them.
Yeah.
And like, you still look at cards from that set, such as Dak Faden, and such as there's just a ton of them. There's a ton of cards from that set that were unique to that set. Even reprints in that set. Exploration in that set. You could get a foil when it came out. You could get a foil Exploration for $5. And now, good luck. You're never getting it for that price again. It was because they really paid attention in that set to not only the new cards that they were printing, but the very select few reprints that hadn't been reprinted in a very long time. In this case, I think they're really they're focusing those types of reprints on this new border, this new art that will likely never be reprinted anytime again in the near future. And I think that's beautiful. And it's definitely, if we can look at Conspiracy as an example, could be a very very good example of investing in this type of set.
Yeah. So Dalton's response was he thought this would be similar to a summer set like Battle Bond or Conspiracy. Slightly lower print run, but 2 to 4 years out will do better than any standard set.
100%.
And I would say, if you look at Double Masters has only been out for, 6 months now? I'm terrible with time, especially in the pandemic.
We're all stuck at home.
Double Masters prices are just starting to nudge up, which I think is quicker than most people expected. But that was another one that was printed a lot, and that set goes super deep.
Yeah.
Super deep.
It's really good, man.
So those are the previews that came out today. The other thing that we want to talk about are the mystical archive cards.
Oh man, you got to show them this for the visual viewers.
We just got Kaldheim. They just started Time Spiral Remastered Spoilers. They also leaked some cards from Strixhaven, including a whole new set of commands.
Ooh.
And teasers for what they are calling Mystical Archive.
Wow.
Because apparently Masterpieces is not kosher to say anymore.
You can't say masterpiece anymore? What the
Well,
hell?
I mean, they can, but they're choosing to say, for flavor reasons, they're saying that on the plane of Strixhaven, where there are all these colleges of magic,
Yes.
there is a mystical archive that contains all of the most powerful spells from Magic's history.
Oh, yeah. Well, dude, and the art that they're souping up on these, so some of these are insane. It's sort of a mix. Some of them look like that tattoo art that you were talking about. Like if you look at the demonic tutor art, it's sort of that tattoo style gothic art.
So which one though? Because there are the Japanese full arts,
yes,
and then there are the sort of English-centric mythological versions.
Right. And the other art that they're mixing in here, I was going to compare it to this book that I read in grade school. I didn't read many books in high school. I just kind of skated through. But in grade school, those were the most amazing books. I don't know. This is probably a long time ago. But either way.
What's the book?
Dude, it was like the book about, I don't even remember the title, but it was about the seven brothers, the seven Chinese brothers, right? That all had a specific power. You know what I mean? And it's like this old school Chinese art. All of their wardrobes are like the Chinese
samurai.
Yeah, the
Japanese
samurais, the Japanese. Yeah, like all of that book art from like way back in the day.
That's what you're seeing on here.
I'm seeing that 100% on these Chinese style cards.
So for those that are listening, we're talking about 3 cards: Demonic Tutor, Opt, and Swords to Plowshares. For all we know, these are the 3 coolest cards, and all the rest in this series could suck.
You never know.
But I don't care. That Japanese alt art, red and white, Demonic Tutor. I'm gonna do terrible things. I'm probably gonna be in a back alley somewhere, scraping my knees, doing what it takes to get me one of these Demonic Tutors.
Props and bonus points today. Tech4 says Mike is not a book guy. Props and bonus points to anybody who knows what book I'm talking about. It's about 7 Chinese brothers that all have special powers and shit. Google that.
Is this Yu-Gi-Oh? Are we talking about Yu-Gi-Oh now?
No. It's like 7 brothers. I don't know. But either way, the art in that is very similar. It's like this old school Chinese like fable style story.
Yeah.
And they made it into like a children's book essentially. But the art in that is very, very similar, and it's very iconic. Like, you look at that book, and the art alone is moving. You know what I mean? It's just, it takes you into a whole nother world. The samurai that you're seeing in Swords to Plowshares here is just nuts. Just nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, you see a samurai just sort of, just pointing
out at the field, holding a plowshare, apparently.
Right. Exactly.
It looks like a hoe, but,
Yeah.
I don't know if he's pimping or not.
Giving up his days as a samurai for working the fields. It
Yeah.
tells a story in this art, that's what I mean essentially, is like for the kids that can't quite read at that age, like the kids like me that were looking at the pictures and being like, wow, this Chinese dude has a special power. And I can see it in this picture, and it's telling me the story. You know what I mean? Like, you can see the story from this Chinese art. This is really good, man.
I'm intrigued. So apparently there will be books. There will be cards from the Mystical Archive. 1 in every set booster pack. And 3...
Dalton, you nailed it. Bonus points to Dalton. I was close. It's the 7 Chinese brothers. Yes. It's exactly what it is. Nailed it. Bonus points to Dalton.
All right, we're gonna look this up. The 7 Chinese brothers. Look, moral lesson. What was the moral lesson?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's the 7 Chinese brothers. See, it even holds the test of time for people that weren't really good with books, but also their memory sucks. Like me, this book was meant for me. This book sums up my life. Yeah, look at this. You see what I mean? There was also the 5 Chinese brothers for the people that didn't want to read as many pages.
Okay. I'm done with that.
I had both of those books.
I'm excited to see what the other cards are in the Mystical Archive. I like hearing that there will be at least 1 in every set booster, that there will be 3 in every collector booster for this set, that you can get the Japanese variants in English collector boosters. I hope that means that we can get these at a reasonable price. I don't know if it's worth right now selling your demonic tutors. What do you guys think?
Tough call, man. You were, I mean, is it worth short selling them too? Remember we were joking about that last week? Yeah. Borrow them from a friend, sell them, and give them back to them later.
I was just going to say, yeah, hey, everybody, can I borrow your demonic tutors? The problem is these are probably, even the most available version, they're probably going to be more expensive than what I can get for my regular demonic tutor right now.
Yeah, man. Like it's just so different. That's what makes the call very tough. Yeah, sure. There's a new printing out there, but the art and everything about this card is very different, and it's weird. You could get you could get caught in the GameStop situation where you short sell that demonic tutor that you borrowed from your friend, and you end up having to buy it back for more because of all of these crossovers. There's no more interest in the game, and suddenly these nasty arts are just worth more.
That does remind me, we did talk about short selling last week. I listened to MTG Fast Finance, which is another great MTG Finance podcast. Those guys are super focused. They probably drink less on cast than we do, but we have a better time, so screw those guys.
They're missing out, man.
But they were... the guy, James Chilcott, last night was talking about he actually did pull off a short sale with MTG cards.
We figured it out. It's possible.
When WotC was selling the Mythic Edition, and you could either pre-order it or you had to get it from a GP. And all the GPs were Channel Fireballs.
Those were the only 2 ways you could get it.
In places that weren't going to have GPs, they were selling for higher. And if you could get them from an overseas GP, you could get them dirt cheap and ship them back. So what he did was he ordered as many as he could, and he talked to all of his Magic playing friends and said, hey, order the Mythic Edition. I'll give you $20 for your trouble. And then in a couple of months, I'll give you a Mythic Edition.
Oh my God.
So he got them for $200, $220, $250. Sold them for $300 to $350.
That's so nuts.
And then a month later, when people, he would send another buddy. He's like, "Oh, you're going to GP Atlanta? Great, get a couple of those.
Here's all this money. Buy these back for me." Wow.
And returned the cards to people. So literally, how we explained it has been done with Magic cards, which is, let me borrow yours, and I'm going to sell both of them. And then a month later, when they're cheap, I'll buy you your copy again.
I'm so pumped about that. Like, we were just theorizing this and talking about ways that this could be possible even last week. And people are pulling it off. Short selling Magic cards. You really know you got a lot of interest in buyers in Magic the Gathering if you can short sell Magic cards. Are you shitting me? Like, that blows my mind to think about that. Someone borrows Magic cards. You remember when we were joking about this concept? I'm like, hey, Brad, let me borrow your Walking Ballista and sell them at $50. All to 2 months later, buy them back at $20 and give them back to you. Like, that's what these guys are doing. That's what that guy was doing, making mad profit off of it. I see Brad is moving on to the unboxing section of this of this podcast here. Brad is unboxing the, hold on, what is this? This is the Party Hard Shred Harder. This is, Brad is starting to unbox a secret layer over here. So can I just say this? When I showed up today, there was a box on Brad's doorstep that was very elongated, very tall. And, I just figured I'd be a good Samaritan and bring it in and, tell him I brought gifts.
If he had put this box in his card, I would not have known.
Yeah, I told him I brought gifts, but really it was something that was already on his doorstep. And this box was huge, but he opens it up, and it's like, how many different secret layers? Like 8, 9, 10 secret layers?
I think it's 8. It was the super drop that contained each of the secret layers.
So you bought that because you got a discount on all of those secret layers, right?
Correct.
Like
where the foils were selling for 40 a piece, if you bought them all, it kind of ended up being 35 a piece.
Right. So you bought that really to get a discount on a ton of them at once, which is, wow. Oh my God. He just opened this secret layer here, and all I'm seeing is this tattooed art anguished unmaking on camera here. This looks beautiful. This is like those
hard
old
to get
school
the camera
style,
to focus on it.
Right?
This is that metalhead poster art.
Yeah, that is beautiful, dude.
I like that they put that one out front.
Now are all of the cards in this?
Hey, y'all, look.
Oh, there's a secret card in there. He just pulled it out. There's a card that they conspicuously flipped upside down at the bottom. They don't want you to see what it is quite yet. But there is a secret card at the bottom of this.
There is an unexpected card. Now, these were only available in non-foil, which, in other episodes we might have said Pringle versus non-Pringle. So these are non-Pringles, and they look sharp. This borderless edge-to-edge printing looks really good.
Full bleeds. I wonder why they did this non-foil. I wonder if there's going to be some sort of problem that they anticipated with printing these in foil.
Maybe somebody had said that
Oh my God! I don't even want to look. I want to see them as our viewers see them. So this is Assassin's Trophy. Look at this. This looks like a movie poster from like 1999.
I know. This is like a horror movie poster for Bugs Are Gonna Come and Get Me.
Right. Oh my gosh, dude. This looks good. So like all of the fine print that they have in the movie, like the actors that they have in it or whatnot are printed. That's where your text for the card shows up.
Yeah.
That looks so good, man.
Oh, this is interesting. There is a change in color tone at the bottom of the card. I'm being nitpicky now, and I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up. You can sort of see in the where the information on the card is at the bottom is a different tone of black, and I'm really trying to get it.
Oh, yeah, I see it. So if you're looking at visuals, it's like the black that's in the picture didn't match the black at the bottom of the card. And I'm wondering if all of these cards have black bottoms, you know what I mean? And this just wasn't the right tone. That's interesting. So we're looking at the card Dreadbore right now. And I saw that on camera. I was only looking at it on camera, but there is a fine line at the bottom. Yeah, they all got black bottoms. Yeah, they all got black bottoms.
There is that slight distinction between the blacks.
Gosh, that's beautiful. So we're looking at Thraxamunder right now. I love that I'm looking at this through a camera. I'm seeing this exactly how you guys are seeing it.
Which must be miserable because I cannot get the camera to focus on it.
Well, I mean, it's not too bad. I can read the name. It's just that
looks legendary creature, zombie assassin.
Yeah, those look beautiful, man. Those look beautiful. Is there any color disorientation on that one? That one looks good.
Oh, no. On all of these, you can see that black difference.
Yeah, right at the bottom. You can see it all. Of course. They have this like black line at the bottom.
I just took my Mardu deck and made it red-white, made it Boros, so I had to take Anguished Unmaking out of my equipment deck.
Oh, gosh, that is a beautiful one.
But that is so cool.
So can you imagine slamming these in like a Commander game? You know what I mean? Like, those look so different.
They're going to stand out certainly on the battlefield.
Yeah.
People are going to be like, wait, what's that?
Wait, what is this card here? Oh, Anguished Unmaking. They're going to have to do a double take at it.
So I haven't seen this yet. I'm going to reveal it to the camera before.
I do not know what secret card is in this secret layer.
No, I mean, until today, I think I'm not saying I was the first one to get one, but people just started receiving them.
Oh, are you showing it to the camera first?
Oh.
What is this? Angarth, Captain of Chaos?
This is like
And they didn't even do it in the same art? What the fuck, Wizards?
Well, this is the stained glass planeswalkers, which have been the toss-ins for a lot of the products.
Yeah.
I was thinking that we were going to eventually move past them, but they probably have a warehouse full of these stained glass.
Yeah.
Oh.
Blue balls so hard.
Well, and I love your optimism, Tech 4. Come on, Kolaghan's Command.
Right?
If that had been a Kolaghan's Command in the same art.
I'd have shit. Yeah. But, I mean, it is foil. How is the foil? If you open this up, is it, like, bendy?
I don't want to mess with it, but right now it's flat.
Yeah, no shit.
Which is better than all of the Dovin's vetoes that came with Thalia.
Yeah, and they did stack all of the cards and the little platform they put them on top of that card. So that card was being held flat in the box, which I guess is good. Like if you're
gonna help.
not going to address your curved foil situation, at least package them better so that they stay flat when you deliver them. That's pretty good.
All right, now we're in for what I'm really in for.
Oh, man.
This is the Secret Lair Drop Series, Artist Series, Seb McKinnon, Foil Edition.
Oh, man, you got the foil edition for this. You guys know what's in this. We already know there's a damnation in this.
You already know.
We already know, but how does it look? How does it feel? How is the foil?
Exactly. How pringled is this sumbitch?
Yeah, right. I'm curious to see how much they have improved their situation with foils. I mean, for so long, if you look back at From the Vault series, all of those foils, if you bought them and cracked them, guaranteed they're bent in half at this point. Ooh. Those foils added a nasty bend to the card, which a lot of people
so just showing
really like.
The box right away. First card that you see is the Swamp.
Hell
now,
yeah.
remember, this tells the story of a wandering knight.
And you see that wandering knight in the artwork there, in this foiled swamp artwork.
We do have another freebie in the bottom, but apparently my hopes are not going to be too high.
Don't get them too high, man. After that, Angarth, stained glass.
Angrath.
Is that what it is? Whatever. I'm giving him too much credit calling him Garth. He doesn't deserve the name. Garth is a legend.
That is a hot swamp, dude.
That is
I don't know.
cool.
I don't know who's gonna have all their swamps in their deck this way, but
it is cool. It's not quite full bleed. It's got like a very, very small border on it.
Yeah.
But the foil is nice. I really like the story that they're telling with this. I like the knight in the background. I like the inevitable damnation that we're getting to, right? Like the story that's being told by these.
That knight is led away by a sower of temptation.
Oh, look, same knight from that swamp, man, in that same art. The story that they're telling, it's good.
God damn, I cannot get this camera to focus.
No, that looks good. Looks good on my end. I'm only viewing it through the camera. He's not even showing it to me first. What a pal, huh? Oh, this is beautiful. No, don't taint my view with this. I want to see it how the viewers see it.
And the sower of temptation leads him to his damnation.
Oof. Temptation leading to damnation, my friends. Yeah, look at that foil. How does it feel, though? Is that block of cards, like, curved, or is it...
Right now, these are not pringled.
They did a hell of a job of that.
These look better than any of the foil Secret Lairs I've opened before. I'm not ready to give WotC a full pass, but there's no curling to these whatsoever.
Nicely done.
For a premium product.
All right, what's the next one? Show me on camera. I'm going to see, and that way I can gauge if our viewers can see it. Enchanted Evening. All permanents are enchantments in addition to their other type. Okay, so he gets his damnation, and then he gets an Enchanted Evening. I feel like these might be coming out of order. Because I feel like
that's right. So the Enchanted Evening is the fairy. All of the little stars and circles you see in the air are souls that she's trapped.
Oh my gosh. The lore on this Secret Lair is insane.
All right, what useless stained glass planeswalker is this going to be?
Oh man, I want to see it on camera. I'm gonna look at what's being viewed right here as you put it up. You're gonna see my face.
Wait,
live.
I'm gonna close my eyes, and you tell me if it's any good.
All right. Oh, that's garbage. Garbage. Why did they do that? Why? We
Oh,
already
I
have
don't-
this.
I don't know, man.
We already have this card in this set.
You know
just
why?
another foil swamp.
I don't know. I think that's actually genius.
Because they know everybody will want to deck their decks out with those foil swamps.
Exactly. How much are these swamps going to be worth if you wanted to have all of your deck done in the swamps?
That's true. But if you're going to reprint a card from the set, print Damnation,
You're
mofos.
They're not going to give you 2 Damnations.
Yeah, that'd be just them being too good because it costs them so much more to print that swamp than it would have cost them to print a Damnation.
No, but it would devalue the Damnation.
It would.
Versus devaluing the swamp.
I still feel like it's better than Angarth, that's for sure. That's a point.
Yeah.
Point for Tech 4. Better than Angarth.
Party on, Angarth.
Better than Angarth.
That was a whole lot of fun. So the other sets, the non-foil Seb McKinnon, the Box of Rocks, the Bob Ross lands, those are going to sit on my shelf and hopefully appreciate in value over some period of time.
And especially if you're investing in it like you did. I mean, that is an investment. You bought a lot of bulk secret layers for a discounted price. And if you're really getting into it, like technically, if you really think about this is going to shock some of you. And trust me, it shocked me with the words coming out of my mouth. Magic the Gathering this year has been a better investment than the stock market. Like, so when you think about it that way, and I know that sounds weird, but it's just true. I'm just stating the facts. If you bought these secret layers when they came out, if you were just a dummy and you were like, I could buy stocks and assets, or I could buy Magic the Gathering cards, you'd have been better buying Magic the Gathering cards at this point in time.
Well, and especially if you applied a little bit of uncommon logic. You know, people say there's common sense. Common sense is not that common. The secret lair drops that seem less popular or are less playable, by and large, have appreciated more quickly because less people ordered them.
Oh yeah.
So they had the Godzilla land one, and it was like, well, it's just 5 basic lands or whatever. Is that really worth it?
Hell yeah, it is.
Hell yeah, it is, especially when not that many people order it, and then the people that actually want it are paying double.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things. They almost it's sort of like the reserve list in a sense with these
There you
secret
go.
layers.
52 and almost 53 minutes in. Secret layer.
52 minutes in, we mention it.
The reserved list.
But it's true. It's sort of like the reserve list. Like they can't miss printing cards like this. I almost feel like someone's playing a joke on us with these secret layers releasing all basic lands. Like, can we miss? The answer is no. These basic lands are going to be worth quite a bit later on. Like, you almost can't miss with these.
That's why seeing that extra swamp tossed in here, I honestly don't feel badly about it.
I think Tech 4 nailed it. Better than Angarth.
Better than Angarth. we might have to go back and retitle the name of this episode.
Better than Angarth. That's dope.
I am very hopeful. I'm very optimistic looking forward at the future of Magic. I think that they could be exploring some dangerous territory with the new intellectual properties that they're going to partner with. But I think by and large, the game itself, like the regular version of a regular card, is so attainable now because of the full art foils and extended art foils and the showcase version and then the showcase Japanese version. Like, I think after this, demonic tutors are going to be worthless.
Yeah.
I mean, if not worthless, I think that they're going to be obtainable for anybody that wants to get them in the next 2 years at a reasonable price.
Like they used to be. Like they used to be back in the day when they were $8.
So on that tip, if I had to snap this up this week, I think we are past the bottom on Ugin the Spirit Dragon and all of its M21 variants.
Great
If you
pick.
ever think you're going to play Ugin in EDH or Modern, this is as cheap as it gets until the next reprint.
I would completely agree. In fact, the first time that Ugin was printed, I thought the same thing when it started rotating out. And I was like, okay, you guys didn't reprint it again in any sets. And I got it, and it went from, the $20 that I bought it at to $80 eventually at its max. I think that's a great suggestion. This was the reprint for this card. So if you're waiting on it to go lower, you probably shouldn't. I would say going along with these themes.
I'm just popping it up on the screen for folks to see.
Oh yeah.
From this is the showcase version, and you can see it came out super high priced, and then had this slow trajectory down where it found its floor.
Yep. And we're still kind of on it.
And we're still kind of on it, but we're starting to creep up.
Yep.
And man, I don't know what that is, but it sure smells delicious, Mike.
I don't even know what it is anymore. I just get whatever they give me over at Empire. He's smelling my vape smoke.
That, and I'm trying to see the screen. So there's the borderless, there's the showcase. So here's the showcase, and same thing. You can see it bottomed out.
The showcase is at $31.
Yeah.
Okay, that is a definite snap this up. I think that's a great call this week.
If I shorten this window, you can see the bottom and the slight rise.
This was a card that was recently $80.
And that's it. There's no way that this copy of this card isn't $60, isn't double this price in 2 years.
Oh, 100%.
Unless they reprint it again, but I don't see them having a reason to.
Right, and even if they did, they're not going to reprint this full art, full bleed version right here, or at least full art version here. Yeah, good pick, man. I would say, along this same theme, if you haven't gotten the unique secret layers yet, big spec on my part, stepping outside of the reserved list, but big spec on my part. These unique secret layers like The Walking Dead, or, especially when they're talking about crossing over, Hasbro coming out and saying, hey, WotC's doing a great job with these crossovers and whatnot. Keep an eye on those. If you haven't gotten the unique ones that they've printed, maybe these unique lands, these, think of the Guru lands. Those were unique. Those were unique at the time, very obtainable at the time. But now they're unaffordable. Like, no one wants to pay $160, $200 for a land, a basic land. But that's what they are, because they're so rare. These secret layers that they're coming out with, keep a very keen eye on them. And the ones that they're printing that are unique cards, such as The Walking Dead, these crossovers, you might want to think about them, because it's very hard to reprint them. It's extremely hard to reprint them. So they are pandering to investors here, and that only benefits the financially savvy people like us that are listening to this podcast. And when they come out with a secret layer for $35, even if you're not getting the foil versions of them, they're probably not reprinting those cards again anytime soon. Yep. So a very good pickup. And even if they do, even if there's one broken card that they're like, we have to reprint this, they're not reprinting every card in that secret layer.
No.
So keep an eye on that.
It's interesting. Something that occurred to me earlier, and you just made me think about it, though, is maybe 5 months ago, I picked up a handful of foil SRAM Senior Edificers.
Good pick.
Good pick. They're going to print it into a standard set with the old bordered frame in foils that you can crack out of packs.
Well, not a standard set, right? It's Time Spiral Remastered isn't going to be standard. That's right. It's not going to be standard. But
sorry,
at the same time,
a booster pack product, you can, it's not a secret layer.
But it hit its floor. Like,
oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It isn't like that card could go lower. I guarantee you this reprint isn't going to drive the price of that down from what it was at.
This is a tough one. So I was floored today when I saw somebody post some Onslaught foil fetches. To see the price of the Onslaught foil fetches is stupid.
Really?
And it just made me realize, as much as I don't care about original printings, financially I should care about original printings.
People do.
Because people do.
Because people pay a premium.
And what you're saying, and this is how I'm bringing it full circle to what you just said, when you have a unique printing like that, it has its own floor. And it is the new original printing.
Right.
sort of like the McKinnon vocations and the original masterpieces. You know, there's a bazillion Soul Rings, but the masterpiece Soul Ring is its own thing.
Right.
So there's alpha beta Soul Rings, you know, that are $250. There's the masterpiece Soul Ring that's $450, $500.
Right.
Tech 4, I care.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, they're essentially...
He buys the OG version every time he orders a card.
Of course. You gotta, it's those style points. There are people out there that care. There are people out there that seek out those older borders and those original printings. And I feel like at this point in history, Wizards of the Coast is really pandering to the people like us, like the investors in Magic the Gathering that want to buy cards that do not want to see their price tank over the next few months. This is what these secret layers are for. So when you see these new secret layers come out, when you see these new cards, regardless of how you feel about them, remove your emotions. Remove your emotions from it, right?
Yeah.
And say, this card will likely never be printed again. If it sucks and it fails, it will likely never be reprinted again. So if a lot of people feel like you do, definitely buy it. You're never going to see it again.
Yeah.
And that inherently will make it a collector's item in a very popular game that will only grow in popularity with the new things that Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast are doing.
I think you just talked me into ordering my foil Black is Magic so that I can have that Soul Ring and sell all those other cards off.
Amazing.
It's been awesome hanging out with you, Mike, and Tech4, and Dalton, and Brad Eaton, everybody else that listens to the audio podcast, however you like to do that. K-Flag, we didn't mention the reserve list until 53 minutes in. If we had a Patreon, I'd tell you to subscribe. But thank you. Like, share, and subscribe. You know what all the content creators are going to ask you to do because it does help other people find us. And the more people that are hanging out in the conversation, thanks, Dalton. Have a great night. The
Guys,
better.
Have a great night. If you haven't already, like, share, subscribe, like Brad said. And as always, spread the podcast.
Not the plague.